Hello and welcome to the lesson. Today I'll show you how to merge cells and create advanced table structures. Here I have a simple table with the most populous American cities, which we created in the previous lesson. I'll add one more row with a brief description of the table. I'll create the row using the TR element and add one cell using the TH element. Inside the cell I'll type the name of the table, which is Population in USA. I'll view the table in a browser, and as you can see, there is one cell in the first row containing the name of the table. Now I'd like to stretch the table through all columns. To merge several cells within one row, we use the COLSPAN attribute. If you set the value to 2, the cell will stretch through the first 2 columns. I want to stretch it through all 4 columns, so I'll set the value to 4. As you can see, the cell now takes up the whole first row. It's possible to merge any number of cells within the table. Keep in mind that you have to count correctly and make sure that the total number of rows and columns adds up. For example, I'd like to merge the city and state columns. I'll start by adding the COLSPAN attribute to the city cell. I want to merge 2 columns, so I'll set the value to 2. Now I'll show you what happens if the total number of cells in a row doesn't add up. There are 4 cells in each row. By adding the COLSPAN attribute, we have 5 cells in this row. The city cell now takes up 2 columns and the other cells had to move to the right. To deal with this, I'll add brackets and type state inside the city cell. Now the state cell is redundant and can be deleted. I'll refresh the browser, and as you can see, the table displayed correctly. I'll merge both of the New York cells in the same way, meaning that I'll add the COLSPAN attribute and set the value to 2. I'll add brackets and type the name of the state right after the name of the city. In this case, it's also New York. I'll delete the state column so that the total number of columns is equal to 4. I'll repeat the process for Los Angeles. I'll add the COLSPAN attribute, type the name of the state after the name of the city, and delete the California cell. When I refresh the browser now, everything is how I imagined it. So far we've only been merging cells within a row, but how do we do the same with columns? To merge cells in a column, we use the ROWSPAN attribute. Imagine that New York and Los Angeles had the same population and the same rank in the table. I'll try to merge the first and the second cell within the rank column. First, I'll add the ROWSPAN attribute to the first cell. Next, I'll set the value to 2 because I want to merge 2 cells. Keep in mind that the rules are the same as for the COLSPAN attribute. You have to be sure that the total number of cells doesn't change. I've just merged 2 cells, so I have to delete one because the total number of rows has to be 5. When I refresh the browser, you see that the first and the second row within the first column are merged. Of course, it's possible to merge even more cells. For example, I'd like to create a new column and name it Source. I'll add one more TH element inside the header row and type source inside. After refreshing the browser, a new column appeared in the second row containing the source cell. Let's add some more cells. In this case, the source is Wikipedia, so I'll add a cell with a corresponding link in the next row. A new cell with a link to Wikipedia appeared under the source cell. The source is the same for the next 2 cities, so I'd like the cell to stretch through the next 2 rows. To do that, I'll use the ROWSPAN attribute and set the value to 3. As you can see, the cell with the link now takes up all 3 rows. For everything to be correct, I have to change the COLSPAN attribute in the first row. I added one more column, meaning that we have 5 columns altogether. Because of that, I'll change the value from 4 to 5. The table is now correct. It's also possible to combine the COLSPAN and ROWSPAN attributes. Let's try to merge these 2 columns. I'll add the ROWSPAN attribute to the New York cell right after the COLSPAN and set the value to 2. Next, I'll delete the Los Angeles cell and refresh the browser. As you can see, the New York cell now takes up 2 rows. However, there are 2 different population numbers. I don't want that, so I'll add ROWSPAN to the first cell with the real population number and delete the cell with the population of Los Angeles. I also have to delete the TR element because it can't be empty. Now I mustn't forget to change all row span values, because I don't want the table to fall apart because of the missing row. In this lesson, you learned how to create advanced table structures. It might seem difficult, but if you remember the essential step of counting correctly to ensure that there aren't any extra cells, merging cells is really quite a simple process. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll look forward to seeing you the next time.